So welcome to my allotment. It's August in Kent, and I'm going to take you for a tour around my allotment so you can see exactly what I'm doing at the moment. If you've not already subscribed to my YouTube channel, if you could please do so, then you'll get lots of helpful hints and tips all throughout the year from my home garden, my allotment, and also my home kitchen. Now we'll start off with the artichokes. Now I had loads and loads this year, so some of them have actually gone to seed. They do look quite beautiful. I can't help but think I should have eaten more of them. I'd love to know what everyone else does with artichokes apart from let them flower and then make them look really pretty. If we move over, the apples are looking absolutely fantastic. These are a Bramley apple. As you can see, quite a lovely size here. I could start picking some of those if I wanted to in August, or I could leave them on to mature a little bit more. Really the choice is yours. I probably will get them off before the end of August if I'm honest. If we move over, the pear tree is doing particularly well this year. Sometimes I get disease on it and it really does cause a problem, and it affects the fruit as well because I don't spray things that much, if at all really. Yeah, I can lose stuff, but they're looking really good actually. I mean, these are nowhere near ready, but they're looking good for the time of year. I won't be harvesting these for, you know, quite a good couple of months or so. So the rhubarb, although we've had a really good harvest off of it, it took a really big battering during the hot weather. I'm not concerned at all because it will pick up and it will be perfectly fine next year. If I can just give it a good water and a good feed, and that will do it some good. But if I'm honest, it's so well established. A lot of this is all just sun damage. So if you've got anything like I've got after the really hot weather we've had, you know, all this stuff on the leaves, it's all just sun damage. It's not anything to concern yourselves with. And people that ask, can I still pick? I know there's some really weird rules around August, but personally, I would still be happy to pick it, but you don't pick it bare is what you don't do. And if you were to pick it and it was looking a little bit like this, I would definitely water it after picking it. It's quite a good habit to get into. So as we move down, we've got all the raspberries and blackberries. My raspberries haven't been the best this year. Some years are like that. I'm wondering if I forgot to mulch this year, but honestly, I can't remember. Do you know what I mean? So what I'm going to do is I'll obviously just thin them out, and I'll probably do that quite soon when they've finished fruiting. And I will make sure I put some mulch down, and hopefully I'll get a better crop. It's not been terrible. I've still got raspberries, but it's just not been my best crop. They've been a little bit small, and they've not been quite so plentiful as I have had in previous years. My blackberries, on the other hand, are doing absolutely fantastically. And again, with the really hot weather, you might see little ones like this. This is like a little bit of sun damage, you know, where the berries were kind of like bleached white, and they've not formed properly. That was when we had that incredibly hot weather, and there really isn't an awful lot you can do about it. It happens, but there's still absolutely tons on here that will swell out and will be utterly beautiful. So, you know, there's no need to worry yourself about it if yours have got that too. Obviously my gooseberries have all been picked. They're either eaten or in the freezer. My leeks are coming on beautifully, and we've been weeding those. These are one of the things that you do need to keep on top of, and I've been doing. I've got the odd weed here, but genuinely I'm trying to keep it weed free. I taught, you know, there are things you can sow. And one of the things I've sown is some cut and come again lettuces. I've got some lettuces, but I know at some point they'll go to seed, and I want a succession of lettuces. So that's a, you know, if you like lettuce, I'll definitely be getting some lettuce in. There is a video on what you can sow in the month of August, so I won't go through everything. So if you want to take a look at that, you can do. But that's something I'm sowing, and I've sown radishes at home as well. I haven't got an awful lot of room really. My allotment is pretty full. So, you know, if you've got room on your allotment, that's fantastic. But for me, I haven't got a lot of room. So these look a little bit sad, but only because we've just literally watered them, so they've all flopped over, but they all did look perfectly okay when we got here. So that's just where we've given them a really good water. But the lettuces are doing fantastically. These beetroots need a little bit longer before we start pulling them. I found a rogue plant there, which I know I thought I found a Cape gooseberry earlier on in the year, but I think there really is a good chance that is. So I've staked it up, I've given it a good water and a good feed, and fingers crossed I get some Cape gooseberries. So if we move down, we've got the carrots now. We've obviously just weeded in and around here, so we've taken the EnviroMesh off. I always keep EnviroMesh over my carrots because of the carrot fly, which is you know, it can really, really ruin it. If you haven't got EnviroMesh, it is worth the investment in my opinion for carrots, and we will put a link in the description if you'd like to get some. I use the same piece year in, year out, and it does a really, really good job. I forgot to mention my Mange 2s over there actually. The only reason they're covered is just because of the birds, so they don't munch them. They're kind of like a smaller variety, so they never get very big. I've already had a few Mange 2s off those actually, and they're absolutely fantastic. I've got some more beetroot here, which are perfectly good to pick. And I have been picking some of those, which is absolutely fantastic. Got some really, if you can have a look there, look, some are quite a nice size now. So I think I've said before, I just pick the bigger ones first and let the smaller ones swell out. And I have got a few carrots under there, which we've not started pulling yet, but I probably will do in a few weeks' time. So my potatoes have been doing really well. And this is normal dieback, this isn't blight. I see a lot of people talking about blight. With the weather the way it's been in the UK, I'd be really surprised if you did get any blight. That's not to say you won't get any, but this is good old-fashioned normal dieback, which is a natural process for the for the potatoes. And we've got a few squashes here which are doing really, really well. We've got some little squashes forming on the plants. I don't know if we can trying to locate them. Oh, there we go, there's a tiny little one there. I've got some bigger ones over on the other side which we'll take a look at in a moment. Oh, there we go, there's one there. So there we go. I think I've said before, I don't nip, prune, pull around. I literally just water and feed these. So I don't mess around with them. If we move over, we've got the dahlias here, which I do need to dehead. That's a job we haven't got around to doing yet today. And they're doing really, really well, as you can see. Absolutely fantastic cut flowers. And the beans, even though we had copious amounts of bloom on them because of the really hot weather, the blooms just dropped off without doing anything. But again, it's nothing to worry about. It's a pain obviously because we've lost out on a lot of beans, but there's loads more blooms still on there, and we've watered them and we've misted them. So if you've had that, we've actually gave them a little bit of a mist over today. Normally nature does it with like a dew in the morning and it creates a natural mist on there. But if you don't want to leave it to chance, just give them a little, we give them a little bit of a mist over this morning when we came over, and obviously a good water as well. So this is where the bulk of my courgettes and squashes are, and that, I mean, I'm just having they're growing so quickly. So you can see them there doing really, really well. I think probably this is one of my best years. I've actually picked quite a few off and given quite a few away to friends and family. So I've got little green ones there. But I did have a lot more on a couple of days ago, but I had a friend up here and I've been sharing them because I can't possibly eat them all. We've got the lovely lighter variety in there, like a light green variety. And these lovely round ones here as well. Like I said, all squashes and courgettes are quite hungry plants, so I do water them quite regularly. It does make a big difference. And these lovely Brassica ones, I just think they're so pretty and so glamorous. I love those a lot. And as you can see, we've got some lovely spaghetti squashes coming. Not ready yet, so all the squashes need to stay on for longer, and they need to mature in the sun so the lovely fruit inside flavours up. I've got a really lovely potato squash over here, which I'm going to try and show you. I've got a whole myriad of squashes in here, but it's quite hard to show you when they're all grown up like this. So we've got a lovely little potato squash forming in there. In fact, there's a couple in there, I think. And just over here, we've got some sunshine squashes forming. Just over here. So it is looking quite good. You know, they're all starting to form, but like I said, you know, they are hungry. They do need feeding. You know, once a week, once every other week would be enough. The chard's doing really well. What you might notice is the odd one might have bolted. With that really, really hot, if you sow them too thickly, or you get really hot weather, and of course we all know we had ridiculously hot weather, you might get one that's bolted. Now if that happens, don't pull the whole plant out, just cut it right out, and new should form. So I'm just going to take that right out to the bottom, and you can already see there's some little ones forming there already, look. You know, so any you see go to seed like that, just whip them out, and they should just carry on doing what you need them to do for months to come. So as we move up, the Brussels and the purple sprouting are looking absolutely fantastic. This is really doing what we need it to do. I think it's the most successful covering of my brassicas that I've ever had actually using this. using this netting. And we've actually, most of this is double netted with this mesh, but it's really cheap. It's much more durable than that other butterfly netting that I used to buy. And I think I've said it before, I buy a massive roll on Amazon and it will just last me for years and years. We will try and put a link in the description, so if you want to get some of that, it's well worth the investment because it's so incredibly multi-purpose, and you can just get a roll of it and just cut it to size. And I will use this, I mean this will stay on here, this can stay on provided it doesn't get damaged. But on the other areas I can move it around year after year, and I got lent some a few years ago actually, so I tested it out that way first, and it's far more durable than that horrible thin plastic butterfly netting that I had used for many years. And honestly I was lucky if it lasted 1 year, and apart from the fact that's not very eco-friendly in my opinion, it costs a bloody fortune as well, you know, so this stuff's much better. My kale is absolutely fabulous. Something that was meant to be dwarf kale, I keep having to raise up my covering, and this I double net because of the whitefly. It can really, you know, it's not very nice if you get lots of it on the leaves. So I've got Enviromesh underneath with some of the green stuff over the top. Because it, you know, it's not going to get rid of the whitefly completely, but it really does keep it down to a minimum, and that's something that we're really enjoying, having really decent kale without loads of bugs and things on it. And this was my broccoli. Now I think a lot of people probably, once they get the main head, they just pull the plant up. I never do that because I find that you get the little side shoots like purple sprouting broccoli. And indeed I've had some already. If I just take this off and just show you. Now it's definitely, I've actually pulled some off in the last few days, so you can't see any big ones, but you can see the little shoots growing, can you see? And these little shoots will produce, if you can see that one's a bit more, yeah, they will turn into small broccoli heads, a little bit like purple sprouting. So I wouldn't be planting anything else here. It's no skin off my nose whether I leave it here or not. In fact, it's really very beneficial too, because I know I'm going to get more food off of it, and I think that's pretty fantastic. So we'll cover that back up. I'll finish covering it up before I go. So our black currants have obviously all already gone, and a couple more things. And we are done. Are my apples here? So my eating apples are coming along really well, and I actually think these are better than usual. Now I did feed all my plant trees with fish blood and bone, and I did put some lime round them, which I think does make a really big difference. And when I forget to do it, they don't produce quite so well, or I get like damaged fruits and things, and they just seem to be more susceptible to stuff. And this year I did do that, and stuff just does look far healthier than it's ever done. And the last thing, my comfrey feed. So, you know, every few weeks or every month or so, I add some more comfrey leaves and some more water. So I've got a continuous supply of free organic feed. And if you don't know how to make that, there is a video on that too, so you can learn how to make that. It's natural, it's organic, and it's free, and that's got to be pretty awesome, hasn't it? So if you've enjoyed my tour of the allotment, please give me a like, please subscribe if you haven't done so already, and any questions that you've got, please do put them in the comments, and I'd love to know how you're doing with what you're growing this year.